We've heard a lot about polystyrene, that they have an intrinsic capacity for circularity. Set the frame for us. Where exactly are we with true circularity, food contact with Styrenics? Where are we with turning that into reality? Over to you.
Perfect. Good. Thanks for that. The short answer, of course, would be we are on target or right on target. But this is true and still does not tell it all, because we have set ourselves very ambitious targets. And I would say actually we are even on a fast track of making this enormous circularity potential of PS a reality. And we ask sometimes even ourselves, why is it that fast? What are key drivers? And one is in your question, it's the intrinsic capability of polystyrene. So styrenics are designed by the nature for recycling. This helps a lot, boosting this capacity. And one other topic I like to mention is SCS as the association embedding both producers and the styrenics value chain together. So this combined force and intelligence even allowed us to surpass as we successfully entered the holy grail of food contact packaging, which is part and topic of our event today. And therefore we are very much beyond already the if and how. It's now on timing, when and what, and product recycling capacity in terms of volumes. Another burning question, I trust.
Excellent. Thank you, Jens. And let us know, we have it here on the screen, how does this circularity capacity tie into the benefits of polystyrene throughout polystyrene's life cycle?
Yeah, to start basically, of course, with the circle which we see here, that it's somewhat familiar, but it's also new, in particular on RPS, recycled polystyrene. If you look at the center, of course, it tells that we have our 3 technologies, all for food contact applications in well and good underway. Basically, also, if you look then at the traditional production coming as first in the circle, you see it's becoming part of this, let's say, virgin production, which we all know and which we all like that much. And therefore, especially the depolymerization and the dissolution add on and contribute, and it's less than replacement, but add on. If you look at the mechanical recycling, you see from the arrows, it creates a bit of a shortcut. Yeah, you somewhat bypass positively the traditional production. And thus summarizing the 3 technologies, I think the great thing here, mentioning food contact, they give a lot of freedom of choice to the market. Time to market is possible on high efficiency levels and high purification food contact. I mentioned that it's more coming during this event. I don't want to jump too fast now. Moving then basically to the next one, very important and also part here of our discussions are the converters. You will learn, of course, from the converters that RPS, especially on the mechanical recycling and the timing, represents a drop-in solution. Yeah, there is no need for invest new equipment. It's really able to replace virgin with RPS. That is really great news. This drop-in, of course, has more other characteristics also for the value chain. So basically from the existing technology, and to most of you, FFS form, fill and seal means something. It has a lot of additional benefits. And it builds on what we see in the virgin. You have an improved and very good productivity in the extrusion process. We learn later also on energy consumption, CO2 emissions versus our peers, versus alternative polymers. And the cost effectiveness of the material, of course, I think is not in any dispute from all the properties I just mentioned and more. And this, of course, looking at polystyrene opens also the stage for design for recycling. So in RPS, even mono PS packaging is possible. Even it's possible, and some of you might see in some press releases, with a packaging body, a lid, and a sleeve made out of 100% PS, and also to the extent recycled content RPS. So this is really great. This freedom of design is one key issue. Also, if you look at the future challenges, but also, let's say, to position RPS right in the common area and the, let's say, upper league of food contact materials, even in multiple recycling. And this is from this angle, with having no limitations even on color. But again, I jump a bit ahead what you hear later, giving so much advantages. And last but not least, looking at PS applications, really already today in the virgin, but also in the recycling sector, having a low complexity as a single layer product. Of course, this is highly beneficial for future, let's say, requirements like the standardization process, quality of recyclates, recycled content, or what is coming onto us. So we are well set for that. That's good news. Moving and of course to important value chain stakeholders, brand owners, and I'm sure some also attending this event today, and for good reason. And of course, it's good news also for our connectivity in the value chain. This 100% food grade RPS, of course, we have to see it's of high concern, but of course we have to fulfill that of consumer safety. This loops possible, I mentioned, we have to make sure, but we are on good track on that, having no degradation of materials. And again, I mentioned this already for the converters. There's lots of flexibility in the percentage of recycled content. Unlimited design possibilities, I would mention also here, and the use of RPS in all original packaging, and therefore, of course, also building on the benefits I mentioned already in the production and mechanical recycling. Just an example, of course, a contribution to future requirements with regard to CO2, climate neutrality, a reduction of the environmental footprint. Again, I jump. There will be a presentation by Regino Weber from New Materials Bayreuth, but it offers additional, let's say, opportunities. The distribution to come next, I mean, I jump, it's more or less similar as for the virgin, but of course, all the advantages also count here. Looking at the retailers and similar to the comments on the brand owners I mentioned, of course, this long shelf life, which we have and can maintain and also build up with RPS from its inertness. It's a striking argument, especially for the dairy product stability, looking at barrier properties, yeah, prevention of food waste, looking at long shelf lives, but also need for packaging, important arguments for the retailers. And therefore also same as for the brand owners, and in general, this what we do with RPS is also representing such an enabling function to achieve sustainability targets, energy savings, and contributions to a more sustainable environment all across the life cycle. Yeah, and last but not least, to say so, but most important also in all this circle inclusion, of course, the end consumer, and it may be not clearly seen from the picture in the background, but you see somewhat a shelf and a hand and an arm reaching out to dairy packaging. The end consumer, of course, can only benefit from those closed loops and 100% circularity. We have, of course, sustained customer experience. You will see it later. This multi-pack yogurt cups and the clicking, but also means the safety of transportation also in the shelf is highly important. And then, of course, it also represents, once we get further, a convenient return to recycling because we then can use it also in selective collection and sorting, which we, of course, strongly fight for, and also even looking forward on deposit return systems. So having said all that, I think striking benefits, and I tried to my colleagues here not to jump that much, but I think also it was exciting enough to open the scene to what is coming. We are in good shape. We are on target to start and end with a question and more to come, not only in the event, but also in course of developments towards 21 and 22.